We have some Kickstarter picks that you might want to look into. Beginning with one of yours that involves adorable furry creatures.
Yes.
Called trash pandas.
Yes. If you don't know the term, it is a internet colloquial term for raccoons. I am partially enjoy raccoons because my mom actually had one as a pet as a child.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is new lore. Hashtag new lore.
So she always told me about raccoons and stuff, all the great stories. And so seeing this looked really fun. The idea is you are raccoons and you're digging through trash to find some good stuff. And all the cards, and which I really do like, it's a push your luck game. So pretty much you roll a die and it'll have different symbols on them. And you collect a token of the symbol you roll. But if you roll the same symbol again, you bust. So if you roll a mass symbol the first time, you're good. But if you roll the mass symbol again later on, you bust. So the more you roll, the more tokens you take, the more likely you're going to get a repeat.
Okay.
But of course, the cards you collect and buy with the tokens and stuff may have abilities like ignore the last roll or change the roll to something else. But at the same time, you can either use them for abilities or keep them as points. So it has that really fun dynamic of how do I use my resources towards winning or keeping things. And there are fun cards, which I really like. Like one of them is force your opponent to roll again. So if they want to be like, I'm stopping here. No, you're not.
That's fun. Yeah. That's
and they all have very silly names. Like it's like doggo or like fish. Because, raccoons are weird. They don't know how to say actual English, of course.
Yeah, they speak broken English.
And another great thing is it's very cheap.
That's right.
Was it $15?
$12. $12.
So definitely, it looks like a very fun, simple push your luck, but also some fun player interaction and enough resource management. It's not just roll and get resources. You actually have to think of how you want to spend them for points or for abilities.
So your brother loves pandas. Your mom loves trash pandas. Do you like red pandas, maybe?
I love all of them.
Okay. You're not like a team of superheroes who each have your own panda specialty?
No, I'm the creep who likes things with scales.
Yeah, that is creepy. All right, next up. This is one I thought was cool. It's called Revolutionaries. It is a role-playing game that takes place during the Revolutionary War, which is my favorite war.
Of course.
I mean, it's in my top 5 at least. And what's cool, so in this game, you are not going to be you're not George Washington, you're not a soldier even. You are all spies. You're part of this thing called, I believe it's called the Culper Ring.
Can I be Connor?
I see where you're going with that. Assassin's Creed 3 reference. But apparently this is a real thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I actually have.
The Culper Ring, which was like George Washington's mandated group of spies. And so that's what you are, and you're going out there and you're carrying out missions in Revolutionary War times, which is neat. The other thing that's interesting, this game uses what they call the Axiom system, which some other games have used from the company, where you don't actually have character sheets, you have cards. It comes with like a deck of cards, and your cards give you your character, your abilities, your stats, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you just have a hand of cards, and that can even influence, like you might lose a card due to an injury, and that keeps track of your health and stuff like that. So that sounds kind of unique and different. I haven't tried any of those.
I mean, that definitely sounds cool. I did enjoy, for the most part, the Assassin's Creed 3 idea, and I think that the ring could definitely fill the same kind of fun purpose of that.
I mean, honestly, when I was reading the description and I didn't know that was a real thing, I was like, this is Assassin's Creed 3. It's the same thing. So that seems cool. There's a bunch of different tiers because, it's an RPG and there's digital or whatever, but the physical version that comes with all the books is $30, and there's like multiple books, so worth it, and plus the cards.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're doing war times, spy groups are usually, or assassin groups and stuff, they usually get friendly because that's when you can do more like, you all know what happened in World War II.
Right.
But
it'd be weird to have just a regular, you're just on the battlefield and you're just rolling dice.
I've seen those exist. In fact, I remember a long time ago, one of our Kickstarter Pickstarter was one where you actually were the medics.
Oh yeah.
On the battlefield.
Huh. All right. Next up, I'm very curious to hear about this one. Pepper and Carrot. Is this based on something?
It is a webcomic, actually, that I do read, so I'll admit that right off the bat.
All right, biased.
You should read it. It's really beautiful artwork and really cute stories. But the game itself does look really fun, too. So the idea is, because in the comic she enters a potion contest because she wants to be recognized as, a good witch. And the idea is you're trying to win the potion contest. The way it works is pretty much it's like a big puzzle game that you're all competing with. You all will take these random tiles which have different ingredients that also have different pathways on them. And you'll shuffle them up without knowing, put your board out, fill out space, and then you'll see the potions you need to make. It'll be like you'll need to go from a claw to a wing to another wing to a claw to an eye, like something weird like that. Just tells you the ingredients.
Okay.
So you're trying to rotate and match up on your board that kind of path for each one. And each turn, you're forced to. There's a center board. You'll be forced to do a switch. Be forced to rotate something, and you have one of each kind of movement in your hand. So pretty much at one time you can be like, I really don't want to do that. I want to do this. So it's a fun sort of puzzle, rotating your own game and be like, okay, how can I get these matchups as quickly as I can on my randomized board without using my hand too much? Because, once you use it, you're done. So
That's interesting.
And it does play those movement cards that everyone's forced to play in advance. So you can actually see like 2 or 3 in advance. So you can be like, I know I have to do a switch in this many, so I might want to wait first or do this. So it definitely, I think it draws to my more puzzle enjoyment game, and I think the same thing with you. It definitely has that sort of fun.
I've been enjoying those kinds of games lately. I think where like that Healing Blade game was kind of like that, where you're like kind of trying to match and stuff. Yeah, that can be a good brain teaser for a game. That one goes for $29.
Yes,
Canadian. It's Canadian. That's $29 US though. It should be. And then the last one. This is kind of weird one, but I thought it was cool. They're calling it Entrenched, but they designed for X-Wing the trench of the Death Star, a full 3D model. You can check it out there, and it is unlicensed, unofficial, so they have to use some like tricky wording in their description.
Gotta love licensing language.
But it is essentially the trench run of Death Star from A New Hope, and it comes with little turrets and stuff that you can place on it, and it's fully compatible, so you can play in the trench, and there's also there's enough on the sides so you can place ships around the edges.
No, I mean honestly, the playmats they release, and one has the Death Star in the background, and this one of them should have literally been the cover of the Death Star. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do it already.
I agree, and I don't know if there's an official rule set, but I'm pretty sure there's at least fan-made ones on Board Game Geek that will be compatible with this.
Right, and I think, especially since I know they're starting to do the story, or at least that last one. Well, I think it was for Armada. I don't think they did one for X-Wing.
Yeah, the campaign missions and stuff.
Like that would be, I think, a really interesting one that ends up on the Death Star and actually maybe comes with little turrets. And if you're the Imperial player, you actually those are ships, technically, like in terms of a dial or something you control.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it definitely would be a fantastically interesting battle that would change the way the game would work. Just how I'd almost want one that's more of on land or something, and you maybe are limited to certain ships, or you have to go slower, or certain ones work well. But there will be like the
Rogue One set.
I know there's I think it's pronounced something differently. It's not AT-AT, it's like AT-ATs or something.
Yeah, I think it's interchangeable.
But like something like that changes up. It's not just the ships. There's or asteroids. I know when we played, that was one of the environmental hazards.
Right.
Like so this sounds like a perfect.
Sorry, I thought you switched gears and started talking about the arcade game Asteroids.
No, I meant because there were like the asteroid.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, if you think of X-Wing, you're probably thinking of that scene from the movie. So this is something really cool. Now, it is going to set you back about $300.
Well, I mean, if you do a whole thing,
So this is for if you are a major X-Wing fan.
I have a question. Is that if you get everything, is it possible to get maybe just the turrets or something?
Yes, you can buy just some of the lower ones. They even have dice cups that look like lightsaber hilts. So there's some cool stuff on there that you can spend less money on if you just want to.
I mean, it's definitely it's like I said, worth checking out. Like maybe even try to print your own playmat of it, which might be cheaper, but get the turrets.
Yeah.
So definitely worth looking at.
Check out all these Kickstarters. We got the links right below. Really, really good stuff. If you enjoyed this video, it was just a snippet of our full-length podcast, which you can find on our YouTube channel every week. So please go ahead, like, and subscribe for more board game-related content coming at you in the future.
And don't forget to check out rollforcrit.com, where we actually sell a lot of the games we talked about, as well as post news and all our other videos. Until then, I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and this is Roll for Crit.